All right, so how did you actually found my YouTube?
I was just looking up the EB3 process and like suddenly like your blog came through one of the vlogs like you started the process or something 2 years back. So I came across that and I started watching all the other videos. So I was going on checking all the sites
Mm-hmm.
like so yeah. So when I hear like I don't know anyone who went through this process. So when I saw yours, like I wanted to like ask you how it is and because like in personally to know all the details and everything
Mm-hmm.
so that I can also see if it's possible for me.
Yeah. Well, technically, I started the EB3 programs in 2021, the end of 2021, which I did pay for the applications.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like I was still debating to actually, start it or not. I did that. So that's the reason why I share a lot of resources and also my journey to my audience. And so a lot of people actually apply it through my recommendations, referral link, so they can get discount. But since your situation a bit different, and I'm not sure that you watched previous videos about definitions on my playlist at all, or you just haven't watched anything.
I just watched like two, three videos, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, most of the time these video actually try to educate you so you can understand what are the definition. Is this for you? Is it suitable? How much did it cost? And how long did it take, right? But I'm actually okay to do this video or a Zoom call. So it's to speed up the process, help you to do faster and ask you certain questions so I can give you a specific guidance based on my experience, not like, all the
Yeah,
little.
I want to know your process like because it's a real thing, right? So yeah.
Okay, so before diving into, we have like less than half an hour, so we can keep it
Yeah.
on time, stay consistent. So I'm gonna ask you, what is your current status right now?
So I'm in like OPT status. So
Okay.
it's gonna end in like July 2026. And I can stay up to like 2 months after that. So that's
I don't remember. I have to write down, but just really short answer. So you in the F1 status, correct?
F1 status.
Okay. When did you start school?
2021.
2021, the end
Yeah.
of 2021 or the beginning of 2021?
Beginning of 2021, and I
Okay.
graduated in 2023 last year.
Okay.
Yeah,
So was that BA degree, which is a bachelor degree or associate degree?
it's a master's degree.
Master degree. Okay. Did you study associate or bachelor degree in the US before?
No, I studied it back in India.
Okay. So that's why I want to know. So
Okay,
technically, how long did it take you to finish the master? 2 years?
2.5 years.
Okay. So I'm gonna briefly share with you a little bit how does it work, and then from there you make decisions and kind of like I can help you plan your timeline, but you have to be the person who knows exactly, right? Because I don't have the time to really
Yeah,
into detail. But how it works here in America, which is like you study associate degree for 2 years and you graduate, you do OBT. If you get a sponsor, then you go to a skill and EB3 for sponsorship, right? If you don't get sponsored, you have to return to university or college, go study bachelor degree, take another 2 years. After you finish another 2 years, total 4 years, you do another OBT to looking for sponsorship, right? If you get sponsorship, then you working for them, and if they're gonna go green card, then it's continuing the process. But if not, you have to go back to school to master degree, which you save time because you did bachelor degree, you only did a master degree. But so this is the backup plan for you, right? Because you in the OPT, you're not sure that they're gonna sponsor for you or not. So that's good that you have alternative way to making sure that you have two options. So you're not putting your eggs in a one basket, correct?
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So master degree, you graduate here and you currently work, and OPT will give you 1 year to work for them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also have like 2 more years, which is the STEM extension.
Yeah. So because that's STEM, so total 3 years. So that's great, right? Most people guarantee like if they smart, they will get, but not everybody get lucky or smart enough to get sponsored after 3 years working, even though they study STEM, science, math, whatever like that.
Yeah, yeah,
So technically, they work for 3 years, they can extend another 2 years. Like I said, if they get lucky, they get sponsored to give the H-1B visa. It's a
Oh yeah, I know that.
it's a
Yeah,
temporary visa, but if it's not count or convert to a green card, right? So
yeah,
technically, if you get lucky, you get sponsored, then congratulations, you don't have to worry anything else. But what if?
yeah,
But what if you're not getting a green card after 3 years spending, right? Because it's not a guarantee for those, because company can set after 3 years, either they don't need you anymore, they don't have the money to sponsor you, or they don't really actually looking for anyone to sponsor. And I said
mhm,
this so many times with my audience and even like my friends who was in F1, that sometimes you cannot predict life. So for that, it's the EB3 Unskilled Worker Visa. It's also inside of the EB, stand for employment base, but they have sub three categories, right?
yeah,
Unskilled is the lowest one, skill and
yes,
professional. And you already know those two.
yeah,
So technically, whatever you're doing right now, which a master degree is the highest one, which is the EB3 professional, where they require a 4 year degree and also at least 2 to 4 years experience that you work for the company, right?
yeah,
That's route is the H-1B. You also try to target the last one right now because EB3 Unskilled Worker Visa, where they cannot find people in the US, which is Americans, to work at the entry level in rural area,
okay,
right? So technically, if you have the willingness to go work in those low pay
job,
entry level jobs that companies or employers cannot find someone to work for them, it's leading to lack of labor shortage, then
yeah,
it's go bankruptcy. So that's why you play a vital roles in that category to help these businesses continuing, have more employees.
yeah, I saw all that videos, and I'm thinking of working like that, and but I'm just thinking like if I start that process next year, and like it will take 1 year to do the LC process, right?
So, but you clear for the definition, right? Just want to
Yeah, yeah,
make
yeah.
okay. So now moving to the timeline, right? Timeline for the EB3 unskilled worker visas. You have to be in the legal status, which is you in the F1 right now, which is OBT perfect. It will take around 2, 3, or 4 years, right? Because it really depends on different factors: economy, labor shortage,
Mm-hmm.
job workforce in America, and also house demand, and also like government processing paperwork, right? So technically, right now, when did you start your OBT?
So I started like last year, September.
September. September 2023?
Yeah,
And how many year hold on. So right now it's 2024, which is you just passed your 1 year.
yeah. So I have till 2026.
Okay. So technically you just passed your 1 year. So did you
Yeah,
file extensions or are you going to?
extensions. Oh
For
yeah, I already have the extensions till
okay.
2026.
So you have 2 more years, right?
One
But
and a half, basically.
okay,
Yeah,
that's fine. So technically for the extensions or how's it work for this? So that's the reason why in America, if you study and finish your degree or even finish your OBT, but you cannot find sponsorship for regular routes, you can either returning to school or
yeah,
higher education, which is continuing, so expanding your time for your F1 visa, right?
yeah.
Or you can apply parallel, which is you have to start it as soon as possible. You cannot wait. Because when the day you start it, it will take a year to get an LC, and then another year or two to get like processing for the paperwork. So at least it's running at the same time. You go still work for the company you working right now, and the other application is running along with that, right?
So I have a question. So if I start the LC like in Jan, and
Why don't you apply right now
okay,
at
yeah,
the end of
so
the year?
yeah,
Because because the thing is, depends on the sponsorship. They will close the applications. So there are 2 jobs right now. They will close at the end of the year. So if you wait to next year, sometimes they don't have the availability.
Yeah, I
You know,
get that.
so time is money, and it's really important that you know and you start it right away. Like you get a cash opportunity. Otherwise, if you apply next year, don't have anything, you have to wait for another a couple months, and it's the time is
Yeah,
not wait for you.
yeah. Like suppose like if I apply now and suppose like I get LC next year, and by the time my OPT ends in July 2026, if
Mm-hmm.
I don't get if till that time I don't get my EAD approved, can I
Mm-hmm.
go back to F1 for another degree or will that be cancelled?
Yeah, that's just how it is. If, like I said earlier, that after study AA degree, you OBT, you don't get sponsored, you continue education. So you can continue education for 10 years as long as you want. You started this degree, you finish, you don't find a job, you go back to school, get another degree.
But yeah, but I already did the LC petition, right? So it will show to the government that I have an immigrant intent. So if I'm trying to go back to F1,
No,
will they
you
deny it?
haven't changed your F1. You still in your F1. H1B is still F1.
No, no, like I don't have H1B right now. I'm saying like if I don't get sponsorship and my OPT ends, but I started the LC process, but I didn't get the, what do you say, I-140 approved. The I-1 for EAD, right? I-485 EAD.
So you're talking about the EB3, you mean?
Yeah, EB3.
Yeah. So your EB3 is still running. Your F1 is still, it's not nothing changed yet. You
No,
still
I'm saying like once my F1 is expired in July 2026,
uh-huh.
but then I want to like get another degree,
Yeah.
like a second master's. But will they reject it because I started the
No,
EB3 process?
no.
Okay.
You can also double check with the different consultant why you apply with the company so they can
Mm-hmm.
actually ask you, but most of the time, no. Because
Okay.
those are your green card and you can wait and go back to school and continuing as long as you want. And then those, it's different. You not change your status from F1 or losing anything until you like change your status from F1 to the other stuff. But if you still studying and working, the other one is still like
So
running differently.
yeah. So when exactly the F1 status changes?
What's that?
Like when does the F1 status changes exactly?
Each people timeline will totally different, right? Sometimes you can start right now and your
Mm-hmm.
process take longer, but your friends can start next year and it can be different. So each person will have different timeline, nobody the same. It's really weird. It's really weird that way because when I started my process, one of my referral, which is maybe I shared to you and you apply, she get it the LC before me and she's from different country. So that's the reason why it's totally different and you cannot predict anything related to it. But as long as it's still going, it's still going. It just maybe take a little bit longer than expected.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how it is.
And what is the like the acceptance rate?
What's that?
Like the acceptance rate,
The
like
acceptance rate
the approval rate for the
for which
card,
one?
EB3.
So are you Indian?
I'm Indian, but I was born in Kuwait, so my country of chargeability is Kuwait.
Okay. Yeah, because I do aware that China or Chinese and Indian applicants might be a little bit limited.
Yeah,
If you're born in a different country, then it might be different, right? But acceptance rates, which is I don't really understand about like what are you saying,
like
but
the approval rate, like for the case to get accepted.
well, its acceptance is pretty much depends on if they get approved for the first phrase. Do you see my screen right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what we got is, so today is where I'm talking to you, right? It will
Can I
take
take a picture?
I will send it to you, don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So technically, this is today we're talking, and what will take 2 weeks for you to like sign the agreement if you really aggressive, you want to do it as soon as possible by the end of the month or the beginning of next month, right? So you apply for the job and then sponsor approval for your applications, and then you after everything you've read the contract, you understand, you can sign agreements. So that is pretty much after you sign the agreement, you gotta pay the first payment, right? And from there, they will processing your paperwork, which is from the day that you pay, right? And that is called phase one. And phase 1 is where the Department of Labor try to determine if the company have the ability to pay you, and then are they legit? Do they have anything debt? To make sure that it's safe for you, because you don't want to go into a job that they cannot able to pay you. So that's why it's for this first one, phase 1, it's not your decision. It's not relating anything to you. It's just between the government and the sponsor, which is the company, right? And they determine to see if they are fair enough to pay you enough. That is, sometimes it can be 12 months or less, or 15 months or a bit longer. So approximately around 10 to 15 months for the LC.
Okay.
Right? So that's why if you wait, it's going to be longer. And you can see that on the top, it will say audited or not audited. It means audited, it means they want to double check some paperwork again. They require companies to submit more documentations, show more proof, show more tax return, all that stuff, right? And if they're not audited, it's be less or less longer a little bit, and they move to phase 2. That is where you get approved for the LC. That's your second payment is gonna falling into, which is like 6,950, right? And then they're gonna start file the I-140. And yeah, that's the phase 2, and take another a year or so. It can be longer a little bit. And they're gonna do some like optionals for you if you want to do premium, which is like regular will be like 2 months or longer, but premium, what you pay, it's like an express.
Yeah.
Right? It only sometimes can take only a week or less. And
that's better, right?
Huh?
That's better, right?
Yeah, of course. If you want, instead of waiting for a few months with only 2 weeks, which one you want?
Yeah.
Yeah, time is money. So that's the reason why you have to make sure that you have enough funding to speed up the process. So from there, 12 months can reduce, 12 to 15 months can reduce up to like half year or less than 10 months, right? And then from there, you're moving to the third payment. And they phase 3, it's where you like, I think it's after phase 2, that is where you're gonna do the couple form to change. And then if you in the US, you kind of change your status from after phase 2. You see the form I-45. Yeah, that's where you change your status.
So like when will I get when will I have to work for the sponsor? At what stage should I work for the sponsor?
You don't start working until it's the final. This is phase 3, right? We haven't finished. So phase 3 is this one right here. And where is the Department of State's USCIS give you some paperwork like, hey, you're ready to work now. And you can actually like start your adjustment approval and start working. Yeah.
Okay.
So start working. Sometimes they give you the green card right away when you actually get approved for that phase 3, or they have to wait for you after you finish working for the sponsor 12 months and start giving you green card. Because why? They try to protect the company, because sometimes people like maybe get green card but they not finish the agreement, then you cancel your green card can be canceled. Right? Because you sign a contract, hey, I will stay to work for my employer for 1 year, and then some people disappear, then lose your status. So that's how it is. And these are just briefly because you asked about a timeline. So that's why I said start as soon as possible. But there's also the idea of you thinking like, oh, if I only have 2 years left, and what if I'm gonna do after that? Now, at least you have the answer. You can actually return to get another degree to study master or higher education. So you can keep continuing your F1 status until you get approved for a change of status. Does that make sense?
Okay. So yeah. So my only concern is like once I start the process and once my F1 gets over, like when I'm reapplying for the second master's, I shouldn't, if I get any denial, it won't get denied because of the EB1 green card process.
So for now, it's like if you have a further really in-deep questions, you schedule the consultation with the MCC, which is I'm going to send you the link. So at least they are more like senior people that really do the process. Because I was the applicant, so I know like the timeline, but I wasn't the one who do paperwork. You know what I mean? And they are an expert on this, so you can just
Yeah.
ask more questions. But at least, like, I was the one who at least explained it to you in my perspective as international student before, show you how's it work. Because if you don't understand about timeline and how's it work for F1, you kind of confused and you get mad, you know. But then regarding to paperwork and then all that or strategies wise, talk with the consultant from MCC. But the link I'm sending you is pretty much 350 discount for your applications. The reason I choose MCC instead of the other one because they have flexible payments. The other company, it's only two payments. One is $5,000 and the rest you have to pay like $15,000. Like who have the money for that, right? At least
Yeah.
here you break it down into like 3 years. So I think the other video I spoke in Vietnamese, did not speak in English. At least if you calculate in 3 years, you divide at least just only like a couple $100 a month or so. So you at least you can plan from the first day you pay for your payment, right? And then from the second, it's like 12 months. Then there you need
Okay.
another $7,000. Then you divide by 12 and see how much you need. But if you have the funding, just make sure you stack it up because it's also not included yet with the some documentation for checkup and forms and medical exams and all that stuff. But at least they have an option. But then when you also step into become an applicant and you share with your friends your home country, at least they give you referral money, which the company they're not going to do that. So when you share to your friends, you have some money to pay for your application. That also save your money. And I'm super transparent on this. So at least you know and you feel like, hey, at least I have the support from the company, right? And if I'm selfish, I'm not going to tell you. And then people just keep flying to me. But if you got applicants, that's how they're going to help you with your finance.
Okay. Got it.
So that's why I chose MCC. You have further questions? I don't really share my personal a lot
Okay.
because even like before sharing the whole process, I was really hesitate because I live really a private life. But I feel like, okay,
Okay.
if I'm selfish, I'm not sharing, a lot of people will have struggling. So that's the reason why. But you should care more for your process instead of the other people. But like I said, your timeline will be different than the rest of the people.
Okay.
This is my recommendations or advice for you. When you're waiting for this, doing this, study different things. And while you're working for the current company right now, learn as much as possible. Have the goals for you. When you get your green card, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, what are you going to do? Are you going to become your own boss? Or are you going to still working for someone? Right? So that will help you to determine your game plan during these year waiting. So your brain is not focusing on only focus on like when I'm gonna get approved, when I'm gonna approve, right? Because you have so many million things to worry, how to become your business owner, how to make more money. Because when you have your green card, guess what? The sky is the limit. You can do any jobs you want. You can open how many business you want. You can make
Yeah.
20 grand plus a month. 1 mil a year. That's really up to you. So that's why I want you to focus on that instead of like these, because it's really important. You know your values when you get your green card. That's the step I want you to actually focus on. But yeah, do it ASAP because they don't have a lot of timeline. I think they said they're gonna close the application for certain sponsor by the end of the year. So you gotta do it as soon as possible.
Yeah, and like suppose like I have one more last question. Like in case if I have to go back to my country once my OPT ends and F1 didn't get approved, can I do the counselor process from it back in the country instead of adjustment of status?
I don't think there's no way you won't get approved because this is not like this is pretty much the process of if you're not getting approved from the first time, they will reapply you to a different sponsor. But then in terms of that, ask the consultants for MCC.
Yeah, I'll ask.
Yeah. That they will have better answer for you. But during the
Okay.
time that you're waiting or something, they will give you a parallel something that you can travel overseas.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
So check with them. They know more than me. Because
Yeah, I've been staying for a little while now and I want to like go see my parents,
well,
come
first,
back.
go now before or ask them. Ask them. I think ask them like, hey, if I start, can I still return home? Because I think you can, because you still, in your OBT, it's not gonna.
Yeah, I can go now. Yeah.
Yeah, ask them that questions, write down everything so you don't forget. At least now you talk to me, you understand about like
Yeah.
they start or not, right?
Yeah.
But after that, like going really deeper, then ask the consultant. They have a better answer for you.
Sure. Okay.
Do
Okay.
you yeah, so I'm gonna send you the link so you can schedule and speak to them. I think
Yeah.
it schedule out. Just making sure apply by like before the end of the year. You don't want to wait. Time wait no for nobody. Like trust me, when
Okay.
I know this, I did it really quick.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, hope that helped. And then, if you
Thank you. Yeah.
questions, reach out to MCC. They really help you. They're really helpful. And
Okay.
be patient. But because at least you know me, so you're not being like feel alone or anything like that.
Yeah. At least I know someone who went through the same process. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
awesome. Well, hope you have a great evening, and I will
Thank
send
you.
you some stuff, okay?
Yeah. Sure. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Have a good
Take
one.
care. Good night.